Hello everybody! Before we get into this week's video, I want to get into this week's sponsor, which isn't actually a product or a company at all, but rather the first annual St. Louis Place Historic District Art Show and House Tour. So over the last, let's say 2 months, me and some of the neighbors in the community have been planning this little art show and house tour. And essentially we're trying to show off the amazing bits of what this amazing neighborhood is. And let me say guys, some of the houses I've been into recently in this neighborhood have absolutely blown me away with what's still intact in them, and then some of the amazing items within them. This street that I live on is a treasure trove of just amazing things. So on this house tour, that'll be of course my house, so if you guys come by, you will visit this. Maybe even use this fantastic bathroom we've been working on, because it should be done by then. There's 2 museums and another old house is being used as an art studio right now. All of them are extremely intact and really, really beautiful. Yeah, I think you guys will absolutely love it. So that'll be June 4th. The tickets are $15 online. I'll leave a link down in the description. So go check it out. I think it's a really, really cool thing. And one thing to note about this entire thing is all of the donations go to neighborhood improvements. We're working on getting signage up here and some other cool things, and the more money we raise, the more cool things we can do for the community to better improve our beautiful, beautiful streets and our beautiful, beautiful cities. So June 4th, come check us out, and I hope to see you there. Hello everybody and welcome back. As you can see, you are not on my normal handheld, and we are looking at this fabulous mirror here. I've read a bunch of your guys' comments, and I agree with most of you guys who agree that the medicine cabinet is a bit too big for that spot. So I have this mirror here, which is from an old dresser of sorts. It did not come with a dresser attached to it. I just assumed that that's what it's from. But I'm going to attempt to make this mirror into what we need for the bathroom, which is basically just a simple mirror. And the medicine cabinet will actually go on the opposite wall. Hopefully we can store a few things in there as well. But what I'm about to do to this mirror might, well, I don't know, potentially offend a few of you. It is an older piece, however it is kind of beat up, but I am going to have to cut it up a little bit just to get it to fit and lose this swivel motion here. So essentially I'm going to fuse these pieces together and make it one cohesive unit, because right now it's also way too wibbly wobbly. So stop the wibble wobble, shorten it up, get rid of the swivel, and we'll have ourselves a mirror. And boom, we've gotten everything taken apart and a little bit closer to being done. So on closer inspection with this entire piece, it seems like that there have been some additions, including these shelves that used to go here. They're up here. These are made out of oak. That's most definitely oak grain pattern, as you can see. This is not oak. This is not oak. In fact, I think there's actually 2 different types of wood just right here. You can see that very clear defined line. Yeah, that's 2 different types of wood. Not quite sure what. I suppose this could be, I think this is cherry. I'm not exactly sure. But even, you know, the top half of this piece and this doesn't seem to, well, I mean, they're the same style for sure, but I'm not sure. So there's definitely been work on this piece a little bit over the years, so I don't feel so bad about reusing it in the way I'm about to. But yeah, so next step right now is this did have a weird, you can kind of see the lines here. I've kind of tried to color match it a little bit. But this was all missing its stain completely. It was really messed up. So at least this top piece has to be stripped. This I think is some kind of penetrating oil on it. It is not shellac, so we'll not be going back with shellac. I'm going to use some Danish oil instead. And yeah, see how the results go. So let me get this stripped and at least these stripped. I'll probably just strip the whole thing and then maybe consider how I'm going to rebuild some shelves for this. I do have a block of cherry. I do hope this wood is cherry. Then again, I really don't know. It's hard to say, you know? Especially with somebody like me who doesn't really know. One thing I do know is that's oak. Fled enough with oak recently to know exactly what the grain of that looks like, and that's very oaky. So yeah, these definitely are not original. Will add the shelves back? Not sure yet, but let's get on with this project and we'll get back to that and make our decision a bit later. All right, so we are stripped. We're at bare wood, or at least good enough to bare wood when I refinish it. So this is the layout I think I'm going to use. Essentially all I've done here is take this mirror and lay it on top as opposed to laying it side by side. That gives me the subtraction of about 1.5 inches or 2 inches roughly, and it puts it under 19 inches side to side, which is where I need to be, which is at 19 inches or under. And this is about 18.5, which means it will work perfectly. The only concern I do have now is that this raised edge, because this piece is sitting on top of here, I don't know, I need to do something with it to blend it a bit better. Or at least in my opinion, it would look nicer if it were a bit more blended. So right now what I'm going to do is take my router, which I have sitting here. I have a little cove bit on it, and I'm going to take this off. Of course, now I'm only touching this because it is completely unplugged. There's no power to it. So essentially, this whole piece, I'm gonna router around it. It should stop things like this from being such a dramatic fall, so it should blend a little bit better at the top. Yeah, and it should be good to go, I think. So then we'll glue this whole piece together, and we'll be one step closer to having a wonderful, wonderful mirror in the bathroom. we've got a completed mirror. Let me show you what it's looking like. There it is. Of course, it's not quite installed yet. I have quite a bit of work to get it installed. I think I'll put the sconces up before I actually go ahead and mount it. And it does need a slight bit of modification still. I think actually, in fact, I probably will have to cut the lower part of this off just to allow this to drop low enough for the sconces to sit up there. But overall, I think it looks absolutely brilliant. It looks super good. I use Danish oil on the finish, which I've actually never used before. Lots of tung oil, then some boiled linseed oil, but never the Danish oil before. No, I have no idea what the mix of oils consist and make up Danish oil, but you can't argue with the results. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And yes, I am sure I will get a few comments about how dare you ruin a beautiful antique or something like that. One thing to note about this piece is, while I think by today's standards it's rather ornate and of course extremely beautiful, it is probably a lower quality Eastlake piece to begin with, or it is a lower quality Eastlake piece. This isn't something that was, this is something that was made in massive quantities. A lot of these were produced, things like this. So it's not like it's probably the only one out there. And the other thing is, this piece was completely missing its original context. It was no longer attached to a dresser. It was sitting in the corner of an antique shop here in St. Louis. And I picked it up, and now I think I've found a really brilliant purpose for it. So yeah, we'll do a little bit more modification to it, mount it, and we should be good to go. And for the medicine cabinet, if I spin around here, right here in the doorway, I plan on going ahead and mounting it right here. That way, and then I'll have the towel rack right here. I have a nice brass towel rack that'll go there. And then the two should look really nice, I think, there together on that wall. And we'll store spare things, or, right now my toothbrush and stuff like that in there, and it should look absolutely brilliant. At least I think so. For those of you who made the comments about the medicine cabinet being a bit too big for this area, thank you for making those. I definitely do read the comments, and sometimes you guys leave really great suggestions, and this is something that is a direct impact of you guys telling me what you guys think and sharing your opinions. So I heavily appreciate you guys, because I think I made a better decision because of you, and that happens quite a lot, so appreciate you. Now, of course, the mirror isn't the only thing I did this week, so let's get into some more time lapses, and I'll get back with you guys, and we'll discuss the rest of the projects. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the music. So, starting again here in the bathroom, we got the sink here. As you can see, this is where last week the beadboard stopped. And now I've brought it all the way over to the door. So the room is completely wrapped in beadboard. We're 100% finished with beadboard. And yeah, I'm really excited not to have to look at any kind of insulation or anything like that. The room's got a nice echo now, which is kind of interesting. So there are some things here that I had to slightly modify to make work. Obviously the hinges can't come off of something straight like this and function, so I had to cut this piece of the beadboard back a little bit. So I put a 45 on that all the way to the bottom. So we're good there, and I did not put any kind of plinth block down there because this obviously is going to be the shelving unit, so you don't have to really worry about that so much. And yes, I will clean up and stain and shellac this little edge right here, but I haven't quite got to that point quite yet. We also have some more of the door trim up here. Of course, this corner is kind of odd because it actually ends right there, so the next piece of trim will run to the top. I do have a piece for this, but it is so very cupped, which means it's bent in, you know, kind of like that. So, you know, if a flat board's like this, it's kind of bent in, or, you know, oval shaped. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to lay flat here. So I might have to clean up another piece from the maid's room or Kim's workshop, because that's kind of where I've been stealing pieces like this. And you might notice there's a huge difference in color between this and that. Not to worry so much, this was under a lot of layers of paint for many, many years, and it was shellac underneath that. So it had lots of years to sit in that. This, not so much. I do believe they are the same wood, and I have actually hit both pieces with shellac and compared them. Once this is hit with shellac, it will take on a much darker color like that. And then of course we have the top cap or chair rail installed. It's looking rather nice. I have to say, I do really like the way this looks. A lot of the rooms here, like the kitchen, had a lot of this stuff up, but I've never seen it in a complete fashion, especially with all the wood grain out. And I just think that's looking really, really beautiful. Now, of course, I do have to still fix these two pieces. It's a fairly easy fix. Shouldn't take that long. Just didn't quite get to it this week. And then lastly, one of the things that you might have already seen from the last bit is I got this window back up, which again completes the look. It just looks really nice. And you know, if we got a lot of smells going on, that probably is the window to open up. I do have to get some little knobs for it, so you can open it up, potentially a lock, but this one actually goes to the, but if you remember, behind here and behind this wall here was that opening, and that goes to the stairwell that heads down to the basement. So that's where that little window leads. But I'd say that looks really great. I love the way the glass came out. It does need a little bit of cleaning still, but you know, you can do only what you can do. And then lastly, something that didn't actually show up in the time lapses are the sconces. I actually have both of these wired up. They have these little candle fixtures on them. I've seen other historic homes use specifically these candle ones on recreation gas fixtures, which is exactly what this is. Hence why this has such a huge 4-inch fitter on it. I know a few of you guys said how big these shades were. That's because they're for gas fixtures. So that's the style. So the option of changing the shades on this would not make any sense, because this is a gas style lamp, and the house had both gas and electric, but the gas style lamps I think will look better for this context. Especially since this was originally the butler's pantry, I feel like sticking with a gas fixture over the more expensive at the time electrical fixtures probably would make more sense in this context of what this room was originally. So somewhat paying homage to the original while giving it some new style and obviously functionality with the wired electrical now. So talk to my grandpa. He should be up next week, and we'll be getting this in. So that's the video, guys. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. I know I did this week, which is really cool. Every time I complete one of these tiny little projects, I build just that much more confidence in my abilities to do these things. So glad you guys are here with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And we'll see you guys again next Monday. Bye-bye.